Smells like wet dog. Wet dog. Actually, yeah, small blurb. We can just go into, if you haven't picked a motorcycle, what you should be considering. And it's kind of like working out. You just plan out what you want, what your goal is, and stuff like that. So it's kind of limited. At the same time, it's not. For your first bike, you're obviously not going to want to start too powerful. When I say that, you know, it's give and take. If you're a mature person, you can hop on a 1000 Super Sport, you know, an R1, a ZX10, even a GSX R1000, any of those big bikes. If you're mature enough and you know that you're not going to do anything stupid, you can ride them and, you know, take your time and learn that bike. It's probably going to take you a little bit because, you know, there's always going to be that stigma of what could happen. You'll hear a lot of people saying, you know, you're going to hit railroad tracks and goose the throttle and you're going to end up falling or high-siding or something. And I'll be honest, I've gone over many railroad tracks. I've had my balls smashed from, like, not seeing a dip in the road. I've been over some obstacles, and I have never once goosed my throttle. I've never accidentally, you know, just ripped open a throttle. And again, that goes with me saying that it changes from person to person. I haven't, but the next guy might have, or the next guy, or the next girl, or whoever, you know, they may or may not have done that. So it's really about understanding yourself. If you know that you'll be fine and you're not going to do that, you know. I mean, it's hard to just say you know, but if you know you have that kind of control, then yeah. I would honestly suggest looking at a 600 as a first bike. Maybe find a friend as a 250 that you can putt around on in like a parking lot. Or, what the hell are y'all doing? Or even when you go to the MSF, if you don't have your license yet, when you go to MSF, they're going to put you on a 250 or a 125, and you're going to, you know, have at it in a parking lot. And that's the MSF course. Like, if you didn't know that, it's just you putting around in a parking lot, driving back and forth. It's actually insanely fun, for as boring as I just made that sound, because you can really have fun on those bikes. The only reason I wouldn't say to get a 250 as a starting bike, you might maybe looking at a 300. I don't know anything about the Ninja 3. Okay, she's clapping. Is because you're gonna want to get on the freeway at some point, or you need to. Maybe you don't where you're at. Maybe you don't. But I wouldn't want to get on the freeway with a bike as light as a 250. And that's just personal preference. I've dealt with some pretty crazy crosswinds before. And it's not fun. I mean, the more you understand how the bikes work and everything, the easier it becomes. Because, like, if you get hit with some crosswinds and you stiffen up and you think your arms are strong enough to stop the crosswind effect and, you know, keep your bike straight, you're going to have a really hard time, because I believe that makes it worse. The more relaxed you can stay, the better off you are on the bike. No matter what the scenario, if you just stay relaxed, you're usually better off. Whether you're you know, going into a turn too hot or something like that, just stay relaxed and calm and you'll be cool. That's getting a little off topic, but a 600, mine weighs about, well, like 460, I believe. So you put me on top of that, we have about 680 pounds between me and the bike. So it's a bit more stable, even with crosswinds passing 18-wheeler, stuff like that. It's not too bad. And yeah, my first bike was a 98 Bandit, and that thing weighed 500 and something pounds. Yeah, a good 100 pounds more than my current bike. And, you know, it was more stable on this bike on the freeway because of the weight and the crosswind and whatnot. Which I think I might be saying that wrong. So if you guys are like flipping out in the comments, calling me an idiot, because that immediately goes into saying that like for girls or weaker guys or smaller guys or anybody short who are worried about I'm going to come to a stop and then topple over because the bike is too heavy for me. No, you use balancing points, so you can lean a bike. I would say, well, like the 70-degree marker, maybe 60 is when you finally start to actually feel the weight of the bike. All of this is nothing. I'm just kind of pushing it back and forth. I mean, you can literally throw a bike around and weighs nothing. Which is what I'm saying I might be wrong about the wind thing, because if I can do that, I'm pretty sure the wind can do it too. So I don't know if I'm being an idiot there. But anyway, like a 1000, the bike up from this one, an FZ1, only weighs 480 pounds, maybe 90. So that's like 20 to 30 pounds heavier than my FZ6. So when you think about it, you're getting 400 more cc's, a lot more torque. I believe that bike's got more torque than I have horsepower. If you care about that, torque is nice, but for the same weight, which also creates the dangerous scenarios people warn you about. It's going to weigh the same, but that engine's going to send you freaking flying if you like rip the throttle open, which is true, it will. But any bike will. I mean, even a 250, if you're not paying attention and you crank it in first, you're going to go flying. So, to get all the way back on topic, getting a first bike is about knowing what you want to do. So, I ride in the street, I ride on the freeways, I have fun on the weekend. I like to ride for hours at a time. So, a sport touring bike was good for me. It doesn't have that super sport acceleration or top end. It's got a lot of middle torque power band, so that you can ride around the city no problem without having to be in the high end of RPM to have your full power, which is good. I think it's good for a beginner bike to have a bike like that. You can not only can you sit on it long, you're not going to hurt your wrists, you don't have to lay on it, so overall you just stay more comfortable. I believe on Sunday, or this last Sunday, I was on my bike for at least 7 hours. And I only got off because I figured I was going to be tired on Monday early at work if I didn't get off. And that's the only reason I stopped riding that day, was because I didn't want to go to work and be dead tired. Because riding a motorcycle is a workout. You're not going to notice it if you're having fun or doing it right. You can do it wrong and hurt your wrist or whatever, or you can get tired and get a pump in your arm. But it is a bit of a workout, especially if you're in twisties. That's so much fun. But get off track again. If you're gonna, if you want to go into a mountain range and then suddenly you're like, well, I want to go down that trail, then you're gonna be looking at dual sports like a KLR. I think they make those in 400s. KLR 400, 650, stuff like that. Dual sport. I can't really speak for them. I've never been on one. But they seem fun. I mean, I don't know. I have no intention of getting one. I almost did, but I have no real intention of buying one of those. A big rule of thumb I like to tell people, though, is your dirt bike experience, because a lot of people, start off on dirt bikes when they're kids, and you have fun on a dirt bike. That doesn't count for anything when it comes to a street bike. All of that experience is thrown out. It's completely thrown away, in my opinion, that you should throw it out. And the reason I say that is because it's a completely different animal. I know some people are like, well, my 2-stroke can beat your 4-stroke off the line and yada yada. Yeah, that's true. But your 2-stroke's not going to do so well riding next to an 18-wheeler or cutting through traffic or taking really, really deep angled turns if you're going fast or twisties. It's not the same. So just because you were riding around all crazy on a dirt bike doesn't mean you can immediately jump onto a super sport and push it to its limits. It's not going to happen. Unless it does. it goes and going back to a person-to-person thing. But it's really doubtful that that'll happen. So, besides thinking about what you want to do, you shop around. Just go to different bike shops and just hop on some bikes. Well, make sure you can. I've never been to a bike shop that just says, no, you can't sit on it. That seems kind of dumb. Let's go ahead and sit on a bike and see how it feels. Reach for the bars, see if you can reach all the controls easy, if you like the control layout, things like that. Seating position, seat height, all that stuff has to be good for you to make that a good bike for you. And if it's not, then don't get it. If it is, then start thinking about it. If you can find, I don't even know if you guys can hear me right now, but we'll keep going. If you can get a place that'll let you test ride, I know Redline Motorsports out here will let you test ride their bikes. I think you only need your license to do that, and they'll let you go on a test ride. Oh, and I also suggest, highly suggest, yes, go to a dealership to sit on the bike and to feel the bike and all that stuff and get acquainted. Do not finance a brand new motorcycle as your first motorcycle. Don't do that. As a lot of people will say, a lot of riders will say, or a lot of riders I've met will say, the two kind of riders that are on the road are guys that have fallen, they've taken their bike down, and guys who are going to fall. I personally, I haven't gone down yet, and I don't intend to. Nobody intends to. But I haven't gone down yet. On my Bandit, I had a standstill tip over because I'm an idiot. But otherwise, I haven't had a low side, a high side, anything like that. I've never fallen moving. So according to everybody, it's coming. But you don't want to finance, an $8,000, a $10,000, $13,000 motorcycle and then go and drop it. I mean, you can YouTube that, and there's a guy, has an old video, the guy on the blue Suzuki. I'll put that link in the description. Guy on a blue Suzuki rides out of the dealership with all of his new blue leather gear and new blue bike and drops it. He dumps it right in the parking lot. He doesn't even get out of the parking lot. And I really doubt you want to be that guy, because that would really suck. But yeah, that's the basis into going into a bike. Go with somebody that knows about bikes. If you have a friend that does, if you don't, well then you might have to take a risk. Hey, look at that. 2,500 miles on my bike.